What's up, Metal Tribe? John from Viminal here. Got another guitar lesson for you today. And today I'm going to be talking about what to do when you've taken time off. Either you've taken a break or maybe some shit happened to your wrist, like happened to me last year. And what to do when you're getting back to the instrument. So yeah, actually last year I fucking fractured my wrist doing martial arts and I had to take like a month off, which sucked. But I have some particular thoughts on what to do to get back to it and how to actually prevent there being any issues in the first place. So the first thing to consider is to avoid having a real issue of coming back to your instrument in the first place. Now, if you fuck up your wrist or you really can't practice for a long time, okay, fine. But the best thing to do to avoid this ever being an issue in the first place is just to practice consistently. I actually have a video on this channel. I think it's called Long-Term Consistency. That's one, and I have another one called I think it's called Lower Your Expectations and Increase Your Discipline. And it's basically all about having a consistent practice habit. And I'm sure I'll make more videos about this in the future, but best way to deal with this is to avoid it altogether and practice regularly. Now, another thing you can do, and this is really interesting, is if you can't play, let's say you for whatever reason you're away from your guitar and you literally can't play, you can actually train the nervous system to you can continue to condition the nervous system, the movements associated with playing guitar in the nervous system. And that's actually what's happening. When you take time off, basically you've trained certain movement patterns, certain neural pathways in your nervous system, and when you stop practicing, you stop training those. So you don't really lose them, they're still in there, they just aren't being as activated. And so when you go back to play, you're not as efficient at firing those neural pathways. What you can actually do is visualize or look at other people playing, and you're going to actually activate those neural pathways. This is actually very well established, as I understand it, in like the neuroscience literature. But either seeing someone else play or thinking about it, even just like imagining or visualizing yourself playing, basically will activate the same neurons, the same neural pathways as if you were doing it yourself. This has been found in dreams. If you're dreaming about something, you're gonna fire the same neurons as if you were actually doing it. Like if you're dreaming about running, for some reason, like the parts of your brain that like fucking make you run, they get fired up. So it's the same with visualizing visualizing guitar playing or seeing someone else do it. If you see someone else do it, you have these things called mirror neurons, and that's basically you see something, for some reason your body fucking fires the same shit that would make you do that thing. And also, oddly enough, if you just even imagine yourself doing it, it works too. They've done these interesting studies. I might butcher this, but it's like they've had people in casts where if you're in a cast, you can't train the movement of whatever's in the cast. But if they've had the subjects basically visualize training or somehow stimulating whatever the fuck is in the cast, and when they take the cast off, there's no strength losses or even there's strength gains. And that's super interesting, and we can use that to our advantage. So if you're going to take time off, you actually might just dedicate a few minutes a day to watching some guitar videos online. I personally find that one of the best ways to do that is to look at people whose playing styles are similar to your own. And you might just, visualize yourself playing. Maybe do that in private, because it can look weird. But anyway, so when we get back to playing, we want to reactivate those pathways that are sort of dormant or have been neglected. So they're still there, they're just not going to be as fired up as efficiently. So what do we do? My approach is to basically not play too fast and prioritize perfect technique and form. What's perfect technique and form? In this case, if you're a metal player, in my opinion, I'll have another video about this, but relaxed playing, minimal movement, movement efficiency. Oh, and also picking from the wrist. I think that's a big thing. Now, why don't you want to go too fast? The reason you don't want to play too fast is that because the patterns are not firing as efficiently, you'll have to compensate with incorrect technique in order to hit a certain tempo. And in the long run, that's not good. So when we're just getting back to the instrument, we want to play slow, specifically because we're trying to reactivate those really awesome, the technique through those neural pathways. What are some actual exercises that I do? Let's look at it. So I try to think very simply because, like I said, I'm just trying to train those movement patterns again. I don't want to think too much about what scale or what key am I in. I just want to think as simply as possible. So I mainly do alternate picking exercises where both the right hand and the left hand are in motion. And the reason is that allows both to be exercised, and I don't have to do like separate legato exercises or something like that. The other thing is that I think about combinations or patterns of fingers in my left hand. Okay, so let's go over the first one. Simple, right? Just 1, 2, 3, 4, ascending the neck until I get to the 13th fret, which is 1 octave from where I started. And then I go backwards. And I go all the way back down. And I would do that with multiple finger combinations. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I might do 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4. A stretch between 1 and 2. Also, just using fingers 1, 2, and 3, and 2, 3, and 4. And I might also do 2 finger combinations. So like things like that. The other advantage to these exercises that I'm demonstrating is that they're very endurance-based and you get a lot of reps in. And again, we want to prioritize the quality of our technique here because we're trying to retrain that pattern in our nervous system. So you don't want to necessarily do super fast, short exercises, in my opinion. It's better to do longer exercise where you get many, many repetitions of that perfect technique. So I'll often do this across multiple strings like that, like I just demonstrated, and then also on a single string, like this. And then back down. In that particular case, I was using kind of a pattern or a run. It was like a 1, 2, 3, 4, then move up a fret, 2, 3, 4, 1, up a fret, 3, 4, 1, 2, etc. And then in reverse as I descend. But you could just do it without that. It wouldn't really matter. The point is, I like to do single string stuff where you get a lot of reps just on one string, and then stuff across multiple strings, because I feel like that covers the gambit of both riffs and soloing. It's simple, and yet it gets you playing all over the fretboard and on multiple strings. So that's really just my approach. I do use a metronome, which I'm not using right now just for the sake of having good sound, not dealing with the balance of all that. But the tempo that I might recommend is something like, if you're playing 16th notes, maybe 60 to 80 beats per minute as a low, as like a starting point, and then going up to maybe 120, 130, 140 beats per minute. To me, any faster than that is probably not necessary. And it's a myth that you have to play super fast all the time in order to actually learn how to play fast in general. Like I said, if you can train the pattern, in your nervous system and make it very efficient, you can more easily play fast. All right, I think that's all I have for today. I hope that was helpful for everyone. If you liked the video, please give me some feedback. Hit the like button, leave me a comment. If you want to see more lessons, here's some more death metal from my band Viminal, or even see some of our vlogs, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click that subscribe button below. And if you're a metal guitar player, please join our Metal Guitar Mastermind on Facebook. There's a link for that in the description as well. But that's just a cool little tribe of metal musicians. We all post videos of our playing, discuss techniques and gear and all that fun stuff. There's also a weekly shred challenge. There's some riff or some idea that we all post videos of ourselves playing and critique each other. And it's just a great little community of metal guitar players online. And it's obviously free, so no reason to not come hang out. With that, I hope this has been helpful. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.